Unmute the mic.
The mic. The mic.
Unmute
The mic.
unmute.
The mic.
As the radio plays Frankie Beverly and Maze's Golden Time of Day, and the sun sets casting its rays upon a room in disarray, there upon the floor she sits. In the doorway are two kids with frightened looks upon their faces. It seems as if the sounds have disturbed their play 'cause that song don't go like that. He stands to her right with his fist ball tight 'cause this man's gotta eat and this bitch has burned the rice. Can't she do anything right? She isn't hungry, 'cause she's tasted those fists before. And to pick herself up off that cheap linoleum would be too much, since the tired ache she felt in her bones earlier has since been replaced by the blood as it rushes to various cuts, eyes, nose, ribs. She can't even comfort the kids because he's done this before, so she'll sit on that floor until those little cartoon birds stop their chirping. He don't even promise no more hits no more now that he isn't working, but somehow he manages to keep that amber liquid in his cup. Don't even think he knows sober. And it's everyone's fault his life is screwed, since everyone screws him over. Mentally, she calculates the bruises old and new. Let's see. We've got 4 punches and 2 kicks last week because she interrupted the game by walking past the TV. He sure showed her daddy wasn't a glassmaker. Then there was the slaps open-handed so no one could see, and the pinch under the table because we had guests, and why he did it was anyone's guess. Guess he was just caught up in the gospel. And afterwards, his version of after party was so much fun she ended up in the hospital. Who would have ever thought that the Cupid shuffle could actually cause a concussion and a broken nose? Neither did the nurse. It was a first for her too. He gives a new dimension to Black and Blue because his love affair with Jack Daniels turns him into a mad dog 24 hours of the day. The stutter comes from the pain because even the shade she hides behind can't conceal the absence of her spirits, and she knows in her conscious mind she's got to get out and make a change or he'll kill her next time. If not for herself, she's got to do it for the kids. Yet there upon the floor she sits. Really, should she check her birth certificate to see if her name is Punching Bag? Not Spalding, but a generic band to be used and discarded like old news. When will be the next time she trips and falls into his fists? Or takes that vacation to Black Eye City, or that wonderful concussion on the Hit Me cruises? And come on, those aren't love taps that cause those bruises. These hurts are no longer healed by his kiss, and the gifts are no longer present, since it is apparent that he is no longer sorry. Yet there upon the floor she sits because this Billy badass won't be man enough to hit another man, so he just shouts that it's her fault that he has to raise his hand, and if she could just do better, why can't she understand? Well, shit. Doesn't he realize that dead women can't hear? That she's since tuned out the bullshit he serves, and she now knows in order to get out, she's got to make her move first, and there'll be no need for new addresses or change locks, because the next time he raises his fist, she won't cower in fear or call the cops, because he'll be the one leaving. Only in a pine box. I listen to the hum of love songs in hopes to find the remnants of us, expecting that the smooth sounds of every 8th beat would pull at my heartstrings and capture my honesty honestly. Getting over you took some time. But getting over you gave me peace of mind because I loved you with everything I had in me. And the mistake was even giving you a drop of what I had when you never even dropped your guard. Loving you was hard. And I seemed to want to do hard time. There were things about you I wrote off, and instances where I dressed up your lies and claimed them as mine, thinking I would be the one that you would check into your boxes, that you would check me into you instead of checking me off, nestling close to the person you portrayed. I made myself a chameleon to be the perfect woman you wanted me to be, never realizing being perfect for you was leaving an empty echo in me, honestly. I lied to myself and smiled while doing it. Said things like you suckered me into loving you when it was I who was choosing it. There was a desperation in wanting to give you all that you thought that you wanted, and there was no room for who I really was. There was no subtlety in bearing my soul and giving my trust. Life without you seemed impossible. When in me, I thought you had found life. Convinced myself the game you spit telling me I was it was my end all, be all, but in all I was lost in the illusion, hypnotized by delusions of what we never were. But we never were compatible, truly. We were more two strangers whose bodies intersected at that avenue where they meet in seemingly perfect alignment, and our alignment we never really dissected the meaning. I missed the signs of your misspells. Looking around at the wall where the writing dwelled, I couldn't catch a clue. So I was blinded by the fact that I couldn't hold you. Mishandled my own business, I was fully in it, and you, well, you were just passing through. So this is for the time I stroked your ego and you stepped on mine. And for that Wednesday night on the turnpike as I cried waterfalls and prayed my shattered heart would stop skipping over your name. For the pain I relived every time just to feel close to you, knowing it was toxic for my memory bank, yet I couldn't seem to make a withdrawal. For the measuring cup I used to measure her worth when compared to mine, and never seeing us as equal when she was reading from the same lines from the player in you. For the player in you. For playing me. This is my sweet dose of reality, my finality, when forever falling for the facade of fabled friendships means forging fallacies, for us being fantastic fiction until we fizzled, for fearless femininity fighting as though never phased, for grasping the good in goodbye and embracing the empowerment in the flatline of the final phase. I do this for my ladies. Women, the creators of Earth reduced to dirt in 16 bars with a beaten hell. We sing those same lines verbatim while rocking, clapping, and shaking the same asses they talked about so cheaply. Like all it took to get into your temple was a dude with a tube in his throat singing about buying you a drink, and you can be his $2 hoe tonight. But in the morning, your only gratification is shame and a wet ass that stinks because it wasn't no fun if his homies couldn't have none. And Trina said you were the baddest bitch, so you itch for the attention but fail to realize she repeats herself constantly like, who is she trying to convince? Hell, most of us in some form or fashion have a fat ass, a pretty face, and a skinny waist, but there's no need to advertise by perpetuating the stereotypical lies. UNITY was the queen's way of telling a man to respect her mind, but our gentle fellows tear it down by cordially inviting us to the Holiday Inn to suck him and his friends because he was getting some head, getting some head, and we dance instead of being offended by the message. Yet this puzzles me harder than a jigsaw because you came out of that same bitch you talk about having lockjaw because she slobs on your knob like corn on the cob, and that's supposed to be music. Sounds like ignorance to me. So put a condom on the anti-Semitical bullshit you ejaculate from your mouth to impregnate the mind of a woman's self-esteem. Your queen. Stop teaching your girls to sing the same thing that demeans them, because if she moves her body like a snake, then some older man will videotape her in a very compromising way, while everyone will see but claim they didn't know a thing. Let's take the hint from Aretha and do some real RESPECT, because nowadays, if she gives superhead, she could be a super brand, and we can Superman that hoe, said the boy who was not quite a man and I was supposed to dance. I'd rather go back to the old school when music meant a movement, when women then were revered because a man knew what smooth meant. He didn't aspire to bring himself higher by taking a woman down. And if she swayed to what was played, it was because it was made to promote and inspire. So I refuse to continuously support the defamation of our character. It is inevitable you respect me, or I will look past you, never directly into the illegitimate hypocrisy in which you claim to love the nature of a woman. My disclaimer is this. I am a woman first and foremost, a mother, continuously trying to balance life's seesaw. I will not apologize for my vulgarity in this poem or just getting plain raw. Someone had to say it. It's gone on way too long, so to those of you I have offended, take it up with Amendment 1.